Weird Al Dershowitz is a work. You're into professional wrestling? It's a work. It's an angle. He's bringing the heat. Alan Dershowitz has been in my life my entire life. Alan Dershowitz is that lovable pain in the ass who's always there weighing in about something, always taking the most preposterous position known to mankind, because that's Al. That's what he does. That's Al Dershowitz for you, ladies and gentlemen. Remember when he defended the president against whatever it was? He got impeached, and he wasn't convicted. They didn't have the votes. I could have taken a 12-year-old and said, here, play the violin. It would have not been convicted. It looked good. Remember that? Al Dershowitz. He made us cry when he said they wouldn't talk to him anymore at Martha's Vineyard. Oh, poor Al. I'm so sorry. But I do like his spunk because he basically says whatever he wants. Whatever happened with that lawsuit with him and Boys and the remember Virginia Giuffre? I don't remember him. Was that? It must have been Al. How can you forget it? Listen, I don't want to bring that up again. That was a dark and sordid and horrible part. We'll get to that one day. But Alan Dershowitz, by the way, has this thing. He's on, what is it, somebody's podcast, and says, yeah, I think he's going to be convicted. No shite, Mr. Holmes. Please. Of course he's going to be convicted. Of course. I've been saying this. Did you not know this? Did you not know? Maybe you were listening to all these legal geniuses who were saying all this stuff about, well, it's such an insufficient, it's a terrible indictment. Gee. Well, let's just call the whole thing off. I'm going to call Judge Mershon. He goes, Judge, yeah, listen, do me a favor. You better do this. Why? Well, some guy on some podcast said this was a terrible indictment. Oh, well, say no more. The statute of limitations. And he never mentioned the name of the crime. Do you think, listen, I don't want to get too conspiratorial. Do you think Al Bragg had some help? Yeah. Do you think Al Bragg and his friends, Weird Al, they got two Weird Al Dershowitz, Weird Al Bragg. Do you think that maybe he had with his friends from the Department of Justice and all over the place? Do you think that they probably said, wow, the statute of limitations, let's just hope nobody brings this up. I think they've worked this out. Do you think there'll be leave to amend the indictment? Do you think there exists any chance in the world that somehow the court will not allow leave to amend or correct or superseding indictment or whatever? Do you think that they're going to say, well, there we go, Al, the statute of limitations? Well, if you didn't sit on your arse the whole time, maybe this would have been different. And even though they're talking about conduct that happened after the election, which is kind of interesting if you think about this. Something tells me that little press conference, even though everybody says, oh, that's ridiculous, this is the most preposterous thing I've ever heard in my life. He doesn't even have a case. Something tells me he's got a case. And it's going to go to trial. And that jury is going to say, sounds good to me. In fact, people say, well, the 34 counts. My favorite is, the jury's going to look at it and say, well, obviously they don't have anything because that's why he's loading them up. No! Juries look at this and say, my God, he's so guilty. Hell, let's find him guilty of 5 and throw him a bone and say, you know what, we'll drop 29 of these and find you guilty of 4. He'll be a convicted felon. He'll not be able to possess a firearm, vote, hold office, except for the president, serve as a juror. He's got to get his civil rights restored. Just all of this. I mean, I'm serious. I want to hand it to Alan Dershowitz, but Alan, do you think, and by the way, remember, we're only talking about this case. We're not talking about the others. Remember, he's got 2 cases with Jack Smith. We got the January 6th, sort of, that may be seditious conspiracy, which I think is the scariest statute there is, plus the stop the steal, but that's that. And Mar-a-Lago, the 2 cases. And by the way, people keep saying, well, they weren't classified documents. We're not talking about classified documents. They don't have to be. Well, they declassified them themselves. You don't have to have classified documents. This is the espionage. What are you talking about? Well, I don't know. I just don't think they were classified documents. Would you shut up with the classified documents? No, I heard it on this radio station, and they had a lawyer on, and he's... Did you hear Bill Barr talk about it? Bill Barr acted like he's never... What is he talking about? Bill, this is state court. It's New York. I mean, a little different. This is just... I mean, this is la-la land. This is la-la land. This is a thing. Where have you been? And by the way, I don't want to bring up the race card. I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to go total critical legal studies on you or CRT or any of that stuff. But ask any African American in this country what they think about the criminal justice system. And if they've ever heard about somebody getting railroaded, come on. Come on. Look. This is probably new to you, and I understand that you've got your heart into it, and you might be an ardent Trump acolyte, or you might be the opposite of that, because it's like an either or. Either you hate Trump with all your might, either you despise this man, or you love him like you would something deified. It's almost like the apotheosis of Donald Trump. It's weird. It's weird how people just absolutely just one way or the other. And he knows it, because whether you like this or not, he is beyond a rock star. There is nobody in any platform or arena who was able to garner this much attention and this much love, adoration, response. He hits a nerve that is just, and he loves it. It's like nothing bothers him. The worst thing is maybe to ignore him. This is his oxygen. Donald Trump he's not like anything you've ever seen before. Nothing. What you think is horrible, it's a badge of honor. When they were talking about handcuffing him, he said, oh, do it. Oh, you want to be handcuffed? Yeah, well, we're not going to do that now. What about the mugshot? Oh, do it. Oh, you want to be a mugshot? Okay, forget the mugshot. I mean, he's either a genius or a savant. But be careful, and this goes to Don Jr., lay off the judge's family. Be careful. You better say every single day, especially when this January 6th is still floating over your head, that you despise and you dissuade and you demand that there is no violence, no threats, no nothing. Keep saying that and believe it and mean it. Okay? There's no room for that. Believe me, because they're looking at your attitude and they're saying, "Oh, look how he almost kind of invites this behavior." You think I'm exaggerating? You'll see. All right, my friends, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit some whatever notification of new videos and the like, and whatever you do, please, I beg you and implore you to comment as you see fit.